Alright guys, welcome back to VALORANT News. The VCT season is officially over. The world champions have been crowned. Evil Geniuses with one of the biggest fairy tale runs you will ever see in esports. From down and out in the middle of this season, absolutely roasted on all accounts to make this ridiculous comeback, making the change for Demon1 and lifting the trophy at the expense of PaperX and Jing. So many storylines today. Demon1 probably catching a big fine to his earnings after what he said after the tournament concluded. Lots of controversial stuff here, but also roster changes and discussions already beginning elsewhere, with 90% of teams, according to George Geddes, making a big overhaul to their roster. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. Elon Musk, Ben Affleck, tens, all attending. I mean, this is a pretty wild one. We'll also mention quickly the Sunset minimap. So a pretty straightforward map. This is the Sunset overview, the new map that's coming into the pool. We know that Fracture is gone. We know that Pearl is gone. Breeze is coming back in. This is Sunset as well. I'll just quickly mention this because there were some screenshots flying around. If you guys want to pause, look and zoom in and everything, these are where the screenshots associate with. I'm sure there'll be some like gameplay walkthroughs and stuff of this map coming very shortly indeed, if not already arriving on YouTube today. So yeah, looking forward to seeing how this map plays. Seems relatively, I mean, look, it's a kind of a classic box shape type map. It should play reasonably well, but you know, work to be done, I'm sure, to ensure that it does in the long term. And still, these maps arrive and they're just immediately in the pool, even if they play terribly, which is definitely still possible. So yeah, Elon Musk was at the event, which I thought was kind of crazy. Even during this series, I think they put him on the stream and people were like booing him and everything in the venue and telling him to bring back Twitter, which was kind of funny really. But you know, here we are on Twitter, or x.com. X.com always throws me every time I see a link on Reddit to x.com. I'm like, am I sure I meant to click this link? But yeah, turns out it's okay, I guess. Pretty entertaining stuff. This was Jing, of course. I mean, what a story for Jing, and there's other players in a similar boat in that region. Of course, you know, in Singapore, he's got to go and do his military service, and as he says, my last match, see you all on stage soon. I'm sure that Jing, you know, believes that after he's done his military service, he can come back and compete again, but that's going to be a little while away, and it was one of the big stories leading up to the event was, how are they going to fare? And PaperX went in here, let's not forget, as the favourites. It's been the case before where they've made finals, they've had that advantage, and of the vetoes and the like, and they can get rid of Evil Genius's best maps. But it does feel like a little bit for me with PaperX that when the pressure is really on, they don't quite play, it's not like they don't play their game exactly, but the W gaming style, when, you know, the pressure is absolutely at its maximum, doesn't seem to, you know, really be able to come to life in the way that you might expect. Evil Geniuses were so well prepared here, and honestly, I just can't say enough about how good EG are and how well prepared they were for this series, and just how good Demon1 is as well. I mean, it's incredible to have a player that talks this much trash and did not slow down during and after this series. I mean, the balls on Demon1, map 1 of the World Championship Grand Final, to obviously pop shots like this, but then also shoot bodies, as he did slightly later in the rounds, or like, you know, it was actually, yeah, it was 9-8 at this point here on split. Demon1 gets his skill and starts shooting bodies. I mean, the balls on the man to do that, right? To take him down and start shooting bodies, map 1. Also, this is on a map that, and he did that in the sitting when they played PaperX before, and he lost, right? I mean, he shot bodies there, and then they got, you know, lost 2-1. So it's unbelievable, this guy. But he is the best aimer in the world right now. I think absolutely hands down, and one of the most exciting players to watch for multiple reasons. But this map 1 was not expected to go the way of Evil Geniuses. This was meant to be a victory, as in fairness, game 2 was meant to be a victory for EG. This map 1 was meant to be a victory for PaperX. It was definitely a better map for them than it was for EG. But a crazy composition. I mean, they come out with, you know, the Rays and the Jets here on this map 1. Really interesting composition. Cooked up, I'm sure, by Potter and Bucio. But definitely an interesting composition. But then game 2 was like, all right, are PaperX going to show up here? Because they certainly needed to, and this should have been, I'm pretty sure, Ascent for EG was like, they were like 8-1 on it or something like that. A really good record on this map, and PaperX, it was the complete opposite, and it's probably the one map that PaperX would have wanted to ban in the series, in addition to obviously getting rid of Fracture and the like. But look at this shot from Something. So really it was about these two players. So many similarities between these teams as well, like especially bringing in Something's Russian player. Demon1, I believe, was, okay, grew up in America, but he's actually born in Russia as well, I think, Demon1. So they both kind of brought in these rookie operator players. Okay, Demon1 not always on the op, but, you know, so many similarities here. Both rookie players, both incredibly talented players. And when I saw, I mean, this shot was absolutely disgusting here from Something. So it was 1-1, tied up series. series, and it looked like the makings of an absolute banger series. And to be fair, it kind of was. But EG then really came to play here on this. I mean, the shots the Demon1 hit again, just discussing so absolutely incredible. And we saw some of them here, but even the final shot that he hit to close out this round, it was 5-1. It was swiftly 6-1, and this wasn't even close. I believe it was 13-5 this map. And as that was going down, and as Evil Geniuses were about to win, we then got the moment where, you know, the crowd is chanting "Bring back Twitter" and all this stuff to Elon getting booed in the crowd. So, you know, I'm sure that the crowd was zooming in on him here for good reason. Or the cameraman exactly knew what was going on during the break. So, yeah, perfectly executed. And then Evil Geniuses, they get the victory. Absolutely. I mean, look, either team that won, it would have been an incredible story. I'm so happy for Evil Geniuses and that they got it done. Obviously, in front of the home crowd, that is another factor you've got to consider. But no doubt, PaperX had the advantage into the finals. They had the veto advantage. They had, they were the favourites after what had happened most recently. And yeah, gutting for those guys for sure. And I feel bad for Jing and everything. But so well deserved for Evil Geniuses. The entire team turned up massively. I mean, the improvement in Com and Jorgamo. And I mean, Boostio, how much it means to him is fantastic to witness. And then Demon1, obviously, like the star power carry of the team. And I'm really happy for Ethan as well. After watching his career in CSGO, it was a really great player in CS, Ethan. I watched him for years and I was like, you know, they had pretty good success when he was on NRG and stuff, but it was never quite the success I'm sure that he dreamed of getting. Now he moves over to VALORANT, you know, best initiator in the world, one of the best supportive players in the world. Such a valuable player for the team, Ethan. He has been for a very long time, but now it's really coming to his own with, you know, I think Boostio from an IGLing perspective and Potter from a leadership kind of coaching perspective, really taking their preparation to the next level. Probably the hardest working team in the game, and it paid off emphatically. And let's not forget, right, Evil Geniuses were seconds away, or like, you know, looked like they weren't going to make the playoffs, right? If 100 Thieves that have just beaten MIBR as expected, e.g. they don't make the playoffs, they don't make it to Masters as they did, and, you know, it might be a very different story come the World Championship if they even manage to win the LCQ itself. But MIBR doing this, the knife kill on 100 Thieves to get the victory, that set up the journey for EG, and it is one of the craziest fairy tales that you're ever going to see. And look, I've got to share this from Demon1 here, because even after winning the event, you'd have thought maybe the humble nature comes through a little bit. You know, this guy's built different.
Demon1, when you came into this team, I remember seeing the conversation online, and there were question marks. People were unsure. They were like, wait, who is this guy? Why is he on this team? Is this just a meme? They weren't sure. And then you start playing, and then you start shutting people up. I mean, was that it? Was that your motivation the whole time? Like, the moment you got on this team, you just want to prove everyone wrong?
Oh, yeah. Fuck the haters. Respect my fucking name. I'm the best player in this game.
Best player! You know what? He's a champion. We'll give him that one. We'll give him that one.
In the meantime, let me leak what I know about the rosters being formed. I got approached by one super team, and they're asking for like 10K per player and the coach. And this team looks dangerous, but I had to tell them, sorry man, I cannot afford 60K per player. But if this team ends up being a thing, it's going to be a very dangerous one.
I'm curious to see if there is
a team, wait, sorry, there's a team that's rumored? This is a rumored team?
I got approached by a team being formed, and each player wants 10K a month.
Taking all of the space in mid.
Are they out of their damn minds?
Well, you've heard rumors about some of these teams being formed, right?
Yeah, I have.
You can't think of one team that would demand that much, right?
I don't know all of them. Oh.
They've lost out in terms of
well, I don't know which one you're referring to, but I've heard of some, yeah.
Is he wrong about being the best player in the game? Quite possibly not. In terms of like best aim in the game, you got to give it to Demon1. He was the best player of this tournament by far. MVP, Rookie of the Year, just absolutely incredible. And look, he says a lot of things that people aren't going to like him, and that's what I love to see, right? I mean, it was the ultimate villain story in some respects. People, you know, a lot of people around the world wanted PaperX to win, and for good reason. The Jing send-off and all this stuff. I'm really happy that Evil Geniuses did win. I think they deserve it massively, and, you know, I'm really happy for Potter as well, after all the trash that she was taking in the first part of the year. But nonetheless, in some respects, this is a villain victory story, right? And I saw loads of people in the replies to that tweet of Demon1 saying, oh, this guy should be, you know, kicked off the stage, right? Shouldn't allow this slider and all this type of stuff. And I'm like, you know, whatever. People can think what they want. They don't have to like him. They don't have to like the team. But nonetheless, people are going to be either liking him and enjoying what he's doing, or they're preying on his downfall next year. And that just creates, it's kind of incredible when you get the villain team wins the world championship, and then every other team next year, or lots of fans are going to want to, you know, find a way to get Demon1 taken down. But I mean, the guy isn't going to go down without a fight. We certainly know that's the case, and they will look to come back next year and be even stronger, because they were only this good in the last couple of months of the season. When Demon1 came in, they really got things sorted out and becoming the best team in the world. Yes, Loud did them a favor by knocking out Fnatic from the tournament a couple of times, because maybe if it had been a Fnatic EG Grand Final, it would have been a different story, as we saw back in Masters Tokyo. But yeah, what a shot, what a tournament, and you know, what a set of storylines that it sets up going forwards. That other clip that I shared there was from Disguised Toast, who was mentioning that some team of 6, I guess, or whatever, 5 and a coach, approached him and said, hey, we're a team of 5, we need someone to fund us in challenges. Can you pay us 10k a month or whatever? And he was like, I don't really have the budget for that, I'm afraid. So he was saying, I don't think this is like Optic Valorant or anything, but I guess there's a really impressive team of 5 that isn't in the Pro League, that is trying to make waves in challenges and wants big money. So that's pretty exciting to see what that might be. But the vast majority of teams, even in the Partnership League, are going to be changing. Carmine Corp apparently going to rebuild their team as well. Shin is going to remain, and then everyone else is gone. So Scream and Vera, very unlikely to stay. These players on the market going forwards. So a full restructuring and rebuilding of KC is expected going into the new year. We also have, as George Geddes says, this goes for like 90% of teams. So this is pretty much a full rebuild. There's still some players being kept, but more than likely it's going to be a complete rebuild here. And as Geddes says, this goes for like 90% of the teams. Like pretty much everybody outside of EG, and Fnatic are going to stay according to Geddes as well. And EG obviously aren't going to change, but Paperx are going to change. They've got to do a rebuild now. Jing is, you know, parting ways with the team, and you know, they're going to have to rebuild that roster. There's been some rumors as to who they might get instead, but still, they've got to make a change. We think that Loud might consider it as well, and the vast majority of teams are going to make moves. It's only expected at this point, and definitely subscribe if you don't want to miss any of the updates over the coming weeks, because there will be many. And even this from Bleed Juicy, who I believe is only, I think he's just turned 17 possibly, and it's been confirmed by Riot that he is too young to play in the franchising, so he's going to go and do his national service now, and just like Jing now is going to do in Singapore, and then he will be able to return, hopefully in time in a couple of years. So really difficult story. I know that many people feel massively sad for Jing, but I thought it was a beautiful send-off in many respects. Yes, he didn't get the victory, the storyline, you know, the fairy tale that it would have been for PRX, but when it mattered, Evil Geniuses just had a bit too much in the grand finals. And I'm certainly hopeful that Jing can make a return at some point in the future, and this is not the last we see of him at this level. So very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care, and I'll see you next time.